All right. So the word reflection, oftentimes it means like a reflection in the mirror. But when we're talking about work that we've done, what it means, it's about discussing what we learned through the process. So after you go through an experience, in this case, it's reading a story, listening to the audio, composing two short pieces of writing, and then reflecting on what you learned since then. So that's what we're going to spend time doing right now. So the past two writing assignments, I want to hear what everybody has learned because it's one topic that spread. It was a longer piece. It spread through 2 weeks. So I think it's good to reflect on that. So we're going to look at the past two writing assignments right now. Here we go. I'm going to open up the Google Classroom page and I'll go into just the introduction. I'm not going to show anybody's work, but when you go into the introduction for not the introduction, I'm sorry, the instructions. Let me make this a little bit smaller. When you go into the instructions for the writing assignment 2 weeks ago, free kick part 1. Oh, I'm sorry. There it is, the infamous free kick part 1. So, and you open up the Google document. Here are the instructions. Do we have a volunteer to read the instructions here, and then some of you can share what you've thought about since writing? Any volunteers?
I can.
Go for it, Inez. Yep. In order?
Read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can read. Go ahead. I'll make it nice and big for you.
Okay. In order.
Yep. In order to.
In order to build a world-class soccer team in Zaire, dictator Mobutu Sese Seko requested that Congolese players in professional European leagues, oh no,
Yeah.
leagues return to Zaire and play for their country. This resulted in the first sub-Saharan Africa team representing their country in 1974. For the player who returned, did they make the right decision?
Very good.
I think no, it's not right.
Well, now we, of course, now we know.
Now we know, yes. Before we didn't know.
Yeah. But so yes, that's actually one of the reasons I cut it in half, because the beginning it seems like maybe that was a good idea. Who knows? But
yes, this last week I couldn't do this exercise because I didn't know because only now I know.
Right. So did they make the right decision? I actually, that's the reason I actually cut it into two parts. So it was really I'll give a phrase. It's called a leap of faith. If you're going to make a decision and you're wondering, is this a right decision? Am I going to move to this country and start my life over again? Am I going to marry this person who I believe I will love forever? Am I going to take this job to start a new career? It's kind of a leap of faith. Sometimes in life, you're given opportunities that seem like, a wonderful idea. And for a professional athlete, who doesn't want to, if they're promised all these great things, who doesn't want to say, yeah, sure, why not? I'll go represent my country and do these great things. But how we know what did happen, this is where we can start reflecting. Inez, what are you thinking?
Oh, okay. I thinking is very interesting the reaction because it's the result for pressure, politics pressure the government decided
We'll say that last part one more time again, please. That just the last thing you said.
Okay, is the result
A result.
result the pressure for government the players,
Mhm.
okay? Maybe the reaction is nervous desperation, okay? The player in is the
Oh, you mean
is
why Mwepe Olongo decided to run away from the wall and kick the ball during the free kick, right?
yes
Okay,
is
we're gonna get back to that's gonna be the biggest. That's gonna be the well, I'm saving that one for the end because that one's probably the most interesting. Because he's dead now, we can't ask him. We that's why at the very end the journalist interviewed Mwepe Olongo's son who lives in London. But that's the best we can do. We can't get inside his head to know what was going on at that moment. Was he nervous? Was he scared? Did he do it as an act of protest? Was it like was that breaking from the
yeah,
wall and embarrassing the country like just like a middle finger to the dictator who ruined his life? We don't really know, but
yes
we can just take the information we have and make and interpret it how we interpret it. But that's going to be kind of to the end. So, but 2 weeks ago when I gave you this first writing assignment, Inez, what were you thinking? Were you thinking if you only read halfway through, good idea? Yeah, go back.
maybe yes 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 is maybe the for
Mm,
expression the world see the problem inside the country,
mm.
okay, maybe
The world kind of did, did the world see the problems that were going inside the country? I would
yes
argue that the world just kind of looked at them like a joke based on what reporters are saying. Oh, what are they doing? They don't know how to play the game. They just became
yeah
like a joke. It didn't
yes
really reflect
maybe
the deeper problems that were going on.
yes
It's like,
yes
who are these people? They're professional athletes. They don't need to know this basic rule. What's going on? They just became a joke for years and years and years.
yes the commentary the journalist when speak in the moment
Mhm.
he said bad uh,
Mhm.
commentary, okay, about the players.
Very insulting, yes.
Yes, yes, it's really uh, confused moment.
Let's hear from somebody else. We got a big crowd here. I see a lot of black squares. Show us your beautiful faces and those of you who are reflecting, let's get at least one or two more reflections. Yes, Lamarana. So this is for the players who returned, did they make the right decision? Tell us what you're thinking now, Lamarana. You did a good job on both these writing assignments, by the way.
Thank you so much. Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, I think the decision it depends of our side, okay? For me it was like a mix uh of pride and hardship, okay? Pride because they won the African Nation Cup. Okay,
Yes.
in 1968, I think. Okay, and it was like a first time for them to win a African Cup. Okay, an African Cup. So it was a pride, and the people in Zaire were so happy, and sometimes uh poor people, they need something like to 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 spend their time, okay, to spend their time. So they found that with this team, okay, with the team, they were proud of this team, and yeah, they spend their, like, let's say, their hard time watching them playing to forget their hard situation and stuff like that. But the other side is that Mobutu used this team as a political tools, political propaganda, okay, against the population, the people. And yeah, what else? And I remember there is a passage in, is it correct passage?
Passage, yeah.
Where after the World Cup, Mobutu called them to participate to a meeting, okay, a private meeting, okay, at his home, and he told them he knows there are two guys that are like acting against him, and he knows them, and they need to pay attention on that. So he knows there are two guys acting against him, okay, and he tell them he don't allow them now to play for European teams, okay, and he's starting like to manage their career and stuff like that. So this part was not good for the players, because even they were proud to play for Zaire, okay, and during the World Cup, before the World Cup, during the qualification stage, they didn't receive their money, okay, their money that the government like promised them, okay. So they didn't get this money during the World Cup. They didn't get this money, so they need like to play for European club to earn money. And the dictator Mobutu said no, that is not allowed now for them to play for European club. Yeah, that is the summary.
Excellent. I'm actually, I am going to pull up, you're actually giving me a nice transition to the second writing assignment, because it was, I want to get the name of that player who was interviewed. Many of them are still alive. The one who was interviewed who really hated Mobutu, who said, I just hated him. He could have gotten the, what was that guy's name? So this was the coach of the team, Blagoya Vinedik. He was a Moroccan coach. And it was this guy. This is the guy who hated him. Okay, he was quoted. He said, Mayanga Maku. He was one of the better players on the team. He was recruited by a European club who said, listen, can he play for us for some parts of the year? We'll buy out his contract. We'll do whatever you want. We'll fly him back and forth. We'll pay for everything. Just which is common. A lot of some of the best soccer players in the world will play for multiple teams, and they negotiate. And it was Mobutu refused to let this guy leave the Congo. Well, now we call it the Congo. Leave at that point, Zaire. What was that? Oh yeah, here it is. This is it. So it was Mayanga who was quoted. The manager came to the hotel after the launch. We went down and shook the manager's hand, and he said, hello, Mr. Mayanga, Mr. Makoko. Mr. Kokoko, I came to see you for a little discussion. The recruiters wanted Mayanga and Kokoko on their team, and they were ready to negotiate. Mayanga said they would even pay to fly the players back to Zaire whenever Mobutu wanted them to play in a friendly, but Mobutu wouldn't have it. And then this is him being interviewed. He's still alive. President Mobutu refused completely. He said, no, my players will stay here. like all professional and then this is the narrator saying that, there's that window of time. You can't you can't be a professional athlete, forever. Like, it's not like being a computer engineer. You can't do it at 55. So his prime years to play, he was trapped in this country where he wasn't being paid for the work he was promised to be paid for. Literally, so these guys were literally held captive on this team, tricked into coming to play, and then stuck there. They couldn't go anywhere. That's exactly what Lamarana was talking about. So good transition. Thank you so much, Lamarana. Let me go to the prompt for the second writing assignment, and we'll reflect on this a bit. So the second writing assignment, we see the very end. The prompt I wrote is, describe in 120 to 300 words what life was like for the members of Mobutu's leopards and the Leopard. Give as much detail as you can from the story. Who wants to share some of their reflections from this most recent writing assignment? So only volunteers. I'm not going to force anybody to share. Those who did come to play, what was life like? Actually, okay, yes, Valentina, go for it.
Hi. So I did that in the beginning. The was a really good time for there, because they come back to Africa, to the Africa Cup. Everybody was so excited about they was the champion, and they feel like so patriotic and like heroes. But after that, they don't give money. They have sometimes $20, and in another time just $3. They have to work in other things to gain to survive. So I think that she was very stressed for there.
Very-
After that, when they went to the World Cup, and they think, okay, maybe right now, because the FIFA have to give off the money and maybe everything can come good, but no money for there. And inclusive after they wait after the first game, but they didn't receive the money. So, and they can come back to they can come back to the other life, to other teams or other World Cup, nothing more.
Nice. There's one little detail, one important detail. The money they were promised, we can't blame FIFA. Usually FIFA is always the bad guy in in these stories, but in
Yes.
this case, it was actually the government, the government of Zaire, the leader, he had promised these guys a bonus. He said, here is going to be, and then I'm finding the part of the story where here it is. Right after they played Scotland,
Mhm.
it was okay. So the next day, no word. So when they played Scotland, Scotland was a more seasoned team. Let's see. No, I'm sorry, it was not Scotland. It was, I forgot who it was, but it looked like they would actually be pretty good contenders as this first time team to the World Cup. They were surprising people, but then things just got worse. So the next day, no word. 3 days pass, and they await the next game to be played against Yugoslavia, and they hear nothing about the money as each day passed. They couldn't shake the feeling that there might never be any money. They might have been swindled. That means cheated. As it all comes to a head the night before the game, when the players are getting ready for bed, one player had enough. So I cut it off right there, and then you can hear the very, very end. But exactly what Valentina is talking about, they were just disgusted, angry that they'd come all, they'd been promised so much for so long. And then none of it came true. It was just, they just disrupted their lives to live in poverty and be trapped in this country that's run by this brutal dictator. Knowing now what you know, I'm going to go back to the original question 3 weeks ago. Now knowing what you know, I want to hear from everybody. When you look at that free kick one more time, what's actually going on? So who remembers 3 weeks ago when I showed you the free kick and got everyone to guess what they thought was going on? Everybody was kind of scratching their head saying, what's happening? What's happening? Why is he doing that? So here it is.
During the 1974 finals, Zaire were labelled the clowns of football, but unlike Paul Gascoigne, it was because of their on-field performances. They provided their fair share of classic moments during their 3 games, conceding 14 goals and scoring none. But it was the actions of their right-back Mwepu Ilunga against Brazil which really propelled Zaire amongst the FIFA World Cup moments.
So I'll play it again with no commentary. Now knowing what you know, what is going on during that free kick against Brazil? So these are the guys, the night before, they were promised they'd get paid. The gentleman who told them they were going to get the money once they finished the game with Yugoslavia, he's gotten on a plane and he's left the World Cup. He's out of there. So they're stuck to finish the World Cup. They're not going to get paid after all the broken promises. And against Brazil, here we go. Okay, everybody. Now knowing what we know, what do you think was really happening there? Take your time. Yeah.
He was protesting.
It was a protest, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more, Valentina. Protesting not getting paid, protesting the situation, protesting the abuse of power in this country, what? Lamarana, you got your hand up. Tell us more. What's going on here?
Yeah, I agree with her about protesting, but we can add something else. Maybe during this game, I think they lost 3-0, right? And
Yes.
yeah, so it could be maybe a stress too, understand? A stress about what will happen after the game. Understand?
Oh, okay. The threats.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It was they were living also in fear of, threat of violence. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, for me, it's the same, teacher. Maybe it was a way to express involuntarily the frustration because at the level, I don't believe they will do this action to to I don't find the word, just to give a bad impression of them, but for me is a way involuntary to show the frustration. Yeah, because they had enough. Yeah,
So you
that's
just
why.
you mean like he just snapped? He couldn't take it anymore?
Yes. When
Oh.
when you got enough, sometimes you can lose your mind and leave your emotion talking about you.
It's just a burst of emotion, just impulsiveness. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, teacher. Teacher,
Yeah, so what are you thinking?
I think his team lost and he want to get more time to make the goal, but the Brazilian is ready to how can I say that? But I think it for him he make that to disturb the Brazilian team, because if he shoot this time the wall is not very correct for him, though.
Sapphire, are you arguing that he did it on purpose to add more time to the game? To add more stoppage
Yes,
time?
he was
okay.
protect, and it for him he will get time to make the wall.
Okay. Okay, so strategy to add more stoppage time.
Well,
I never thought of that.
it's a strategy for him to get the time, I think.
Okay. Like in basketball, sometimes you might deliberately foul a player if you run
Yes.
out of timeouts. Okay. That I get. I never thought of that. Okay. So one argument, it was a protest to embarrass the dictator, showcase the abuse. Another argument, he just lost control of his emotions. Another argument is that it was strategy to add more time so that they could form the ball before Brazil took the free kick. Anyone else?
Teacher, sorry,
Yeah.
I
Go for it.
I want to say something. It's probably it's a mix of all of those that my my classmates said. The soccer is a sport like intelligence. Like you have to keep your emotional intelligence. You have to take care of that. Sometimes it's not like stressful. Sometimes it's not the best. You put the ball. Sometimes it's not so fast. How fast you can run. Sometimes it's just the thing that you are thinking about it. Your
So,
brain has to be like focused in a couple details.
Alejandro,
And
can you give
yeah,
examples from the reading?
from the what?
From the reading, because we had 2 reading and writing assignments, and that's what we're talking about here. So this is why I said use examples from the story. If you did not finish the past 2 writing assignments, do not guess. I'm just going to underline it again. Do not guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm talking about the last one. I'm in the second one.
Okay, so yeah, why did Mwepe Olunga kick the ball? What do you think?
It's because I'm talking about the it's a mix between the strategy and the loss control. I'm talking about the emotional intelligence. And he probably was playing against Brazil, and he probably doesn't have that in his brain, you know.
Well, given the situation the night before the game, do you think he would want to make a decision like that?
Yes, it's because he was thinking probably it's against Brazil, one of the best teams in the world. So probably it's like the loss control or the emotional you know. So and you, if you lose that, you're gonna probably lose your strategy. Is that what I'm talking about, the emotional intelligence.
Can you give an example from the writing based on the situation they'd been through? It's okay, but don't
Yeah,
guess.
let me think about it, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know. Yeah.
So you want to give specific examples from what we read and what we wrote about. Anyone else? Is it okay, Saranya, is it okay if I call on you? I'm not sure if you're working right now. Okay, I think Saranya is working right now. Saranya gave a very comprehensive analysis in her writing, so I was just calling calling on her. If you can't, not in a position to talk right now, that's fine. All right. So, oh, Charlene, I'd love to hear what your thoughts were. You had some interesting opinions in your writing. Okay. All right.
Hello,
Oh, hey, Charlene.
can
Yeah.
you hear me? Sorry,
Yeah, no,
I
no.
was having some trouble here.
No, you did some interesting writing in this. I'd love to for you to share. Do you think so? So far, we've got some people said it was a direct protest. It was just protesting what the team had gone through. Some people argue that he just lost control of his emotions in the moment. Other people argue it was a deliberate strategy to add more time. So he knew what he was doing. It was a strategy. Any thoughts come to your mind, Charlene? Why would he just break away from the wall and kick the ball like that?
That's very difficult to. I mean, I used to play soccer, and I can understand that sometimes you just don't think through it, you know, when you're playing soccer. It's very difficult for you to manage your feelings towards situations like they were going through, because I think the major problem is like they getting nothing. They were promised a lot of money by the dictator
Yeah,
Mbutu or Mubutu, whatever is his name.
yeah, that's the
They
guy.
didn't pay them, so they are not getting enough money. But they had like high hopes that they could get money from the FIFA because they qualify for the World Cup. And I think by this game they knew that they would never get the money. And I think that probably he was just really upset about everything, you know, with like so many things to think about, like no money coming to them. They are being threatened and their families, and
That's true.
you know, I think it's very difficult to guess exactly what happened in his mind. I think he knew that he couldn't do that because of course they are players, the professional players. I just think that by that moment, maybe even though he would never get the money, he didn't want his family to get tortured or killed by the dictator, you know. So they
Yeah.
still didn't want to lose so badly, you know, to that point. I wouldn't say he was protesting because they could go to the press, and I don't think they did. I mean, I tried to read about it, and the whole story never came out. Other than when you know, a few years later. So I don't think they were protesting because if he was like protesting after the game, he would say something, you know, to the press like, no, I wasn't a mistake, I was protesting against them,
Yeah.
you know. So probably was more, I would say, because I used to play soccer. If it was me, on his shoes, what I would do is like try to not to lose so badly, even though I would never get the money, because I wouldn't want my family to be threatened, you know, by the dictator.
That's a good point. That's a really good point, Charlene, is that even though they weren't getting paid, they still had their families back in Zaire to worry about. And that was actually the scary part at the very end. When they took when they flew back and they took that long bus ride to Mobutu's house. And he told everybody, said, you know, your punishment is you're never leaving this country. You're going to stay here for the rest of your life. And you're
Yeah,
always going to stay with me. Don't even think about your careers are going to die right here with me.
because if you think about it, they could go to the press and they didn't, because probably they had the families there and they probably would be afraid to speak out, you know, and something happened to their families. I mean, maybe they could escape, but their family wouldn't be able to, you know?
That's an excellent point. That's a really, really excellent point. Nice. And you know, it's actually poignant that I encourage everybody, if you didn't read or listen to the very end of the story, Mwepe Olungo, the guy who did this, you know, strange, controversial free kick that, you know, when you think about that, what was going on, these guys were not paid, professional athletes, not paid, and their families are, you know, facing a threat of violence. The whole world is watching, and it's just a joke. They think, who are these, you know, who are these clowns? Who are these goofballs? They don't even know a basic rule of soccer. And for decades, this would just be a joke, played again and again and again and again. But in reality, these guys were facing something really scary, a military dictator who could, you know, do anything to their families at any point. That's the layers of where the layers of the story get pretty dark. Really good point, Charlene. Let me think. Yes. Anybody else before we move on? Excellent job. So if anybody missed these last two writing assignments, the material is there. Go on Google Classroom, enjoy the material. It's just a fascinating story to read and to listen to. So let's keep things moving. We're going to do a little exercise to lead into next week's assignment. But quickly, I'm going to show you a typical NGen assignment. So when you go on to, for Wednesday, I think we have one new student. I don't want to embarrass you, but I'll just greet you to tell you that you're welcome. It's wonderful to see you. I believe your name is Rose. Rose, hi, welcome. The newest member of our class. Rose, are you able to turn your camera and microphone on? Oh, I think she's fiddling with it.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
My
evening.
name is Rose.
Welcome, Rose. Nice.
I'm new.
Very, very glad you can join us. So Rose, welcome. This is our Google Classroom page. I'll send you the information, how you can do all the assignments. I put each one of the assignments here. We have a live class on Monday evening. That's where we get to see each other and talk to each other. And then Wednesday, you have an asynchronous assignment. And Friday, you have an asynchronous assignment. So one thing I want to clarify, I put an earlier deadline for the Friday because we have to put in the attendance. I could stretch it if anybody's like really struggling. I could move it up to say 1 p.m., something like that, but it's early afternoon. We have to get the attendance in. I know everybody works during the day, so please manage your time appropriately. If you have to do it, say Thursday night and then submit it on Friday morning, go ahead. I'm the only one at El Centro working in the evening, so I know that's a little bit tricky. So Wednesday's assignment, that's due this time Wednesday night, so 48 hours from now. And then Friday's assignment, that is due on Friday, 11 a.m. If you're having any trouble with it, you need a little extra time, just let me know ahead of time.
Okay, no problem.
And that's it. So So that's how we do it. So we have our Monday night class together, and when you do the Wednesday assignment, you turn it in. That's how I mark the attendance. When you do the Friday and turn it in, that's how I mark the attendance. And that is it. So here is our Wednesday assignment. It's a very interesting story. I like to go over this with everybody. When you click on the NGen link, you open it up, you'll see the title of the story. And what I always encourage everybody to do is go to the page, read the summary, and look at the vocab words.
Back here.
Actually, I gotta mute somebody here. Hang on one second. I can hear. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Oh, I see it. Gotta mute somebody. Sorry, it's a big class.
There's a power. Remember that.
Oh, it's Rose. Okay. Tell everybody in your apartment, welcome. Nice to meet you all. Okay. It was Rose. I was muting you. Okay. All right. So, okay. So here's the title of the story. Now, what I always say is that don't just press, okay, I'm ready, and start trying to do it. You got to take your time to learn the new words. So if it's your first time doing an NGen assignment, left click on the words, you'll get the pronunciation like this.
Affordable. Pledged.
So that's one way you can learn the words first. Take your time with it. Don't try to do it all at once because it's a lot. And this is my advice. Scroll down to the very bottom right here, and you can click on the summary. A summary is just a few words. What's the story about? What's happening? So when you left click here, the new president has big plans for the future of Mexico's car industry. Okay, so something's happening in Mexico that has to do with cars. So now you have the gist, what means the basic idea of the story. Then take your time and left click on the words. And when you click on the words, I recommend having your notebook next to you, because the words will take some time if you need to learn the basic definitions of the words first, or infer them as you read, however you prefer to learn. But left click on the words, and then you can, as you scroll upwards, I'll make this a little smaller so everyone can see. There we are. You'll have a phrase and a word, another word. When you left click on the right-hand column where it's gray, you're going to see not only the definition, but also the word in context. What's this? So if I'm look at the word charging, left click here, there it is. Charging. If I need the pronunciation so I could hear it, I click
charging, charging, charging.
And I can play it again and again until I get it right. Then it'll give you the definition. So it's talking about electric cars charging, putting electricity into an electrical device such as a battery. And then here's the word in context with the story. So take your time, learn the words first. So I give it to you 48 hours ahead of time. First, learn the words, get the gist of the story, and then when you're ready, click, okay, I'm ready, and then it'll give you the questions. And always play the story through. Watch this.
Mexico's new president has pledged to create a Mexican-made, small, affordable electric car to compete with vehicles imported from China.
There we go. So learn the words, get the basic idea of the story. You can listen and read at the same time and really take as much time as you need with this. And then once you're ready, say, okay, I'm ready. And it'll give you multiple choice questions. It'll ask you to drag and drop. And then once you are completely finished with the entire exercise, over here in Google Classroom, I always say, complete the exercise and attach a photo. So the reason I ask you to attach the photo, it helps me understand if you're doing better with the reading questions or better with the listening questions, where everybody's doing. So doing at least one of these a week is great. And you don't have to wait for me to assign it to you. NGen is a great resource. You can just do this for as long as you're enrolled in the class, as much free time as you have. And that is it. So that's Wednesday's assignment. Friday's assignment is another writing assignment. It's just 4 short answer questions, really short. It does involve some vocabulary and some reading, but I think you're going to have fun with it. And the story is called Schaden Facebook, which is a play on words. It's a play on words that I think relates to McLaurin's profession. McLaurin, this is probably going to be your favorite lesson of the semester. McLaurin,
Okay, I'm so happy.
what this word is?
Let me see. I don't see it. I can't see well, teacher.
Oh, it might be a delay. I'll just say it. Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude.
Something hide me.
Pleasure at someone's misfortune.
Oh.
So it's essentially it's the idea of it's a natural thing that happens when you compare yourself to someone else. If you see somebody who's having a bad day or see someone who's in a worse situation than you are, naturally you'll feel some kind of fulfillment in a way. Let's say you look at a picture of your best friend from 20 years ago, and you look at a picture of you, and maybe it looks like your best friend is not as happy as you, is not, or maybe they look like they look older than you or fatter than you, and somehow you say, "Aha, I'm winning." That's called Schadenfreude. We're not supposed to show these things, but we have these thoughts in our mind, and it's a German word that we borrow in English, Schadenfreude. Let's say you have a terrible day, you lose your job, your partner decides they want to leave you. All these bad things can happen to you, but then you find out somebody else is having a worse day. Somebody else was attacked on the street, and they're in the hospital because they're bleeding to death. And you're saying, you know what? Maybe I'm not having such a bad day. Is this moment of, okay, if I compare myself to someone else's life, I receive this pleasure. So it's one word to describe this natural emotion that we have when we compare ourselves to others. And that's what this story is about. But it's about one woman's journey with social comparison as she gets caught up in posting her life on Facebook. And it's a very good story. I think you'll enjoy it. So here is an exercise. Everybody, I will encourage you to take out a pen and paper. I'm going to play a scene from the 2003 movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and just write down a few words about what's happening. So I'm going to play a scene from this movie with no sound on, no sound whatsoever. And everybody just write down what's going on. Here we go. Tell me when, I'll give everybody a minute. Just grab a pen and paper and try to describe what is happening in the scene. So I'm turning the sound off. Okay. Okay, I hope everybody grabbed a pen. Something to write with. You can give me a hand raise, a thumbs up emoji when you're ready. Okay, here we go. I'm going to play it. Remember, the sound is off on purpose. Here we go. Play that one more time. Okay. Who wants to tell me what they think is going on? What'd you write? What happened in that? What's happening with this couple?
Teacher, I
Mhm.
think they were like discussing for something. She was trying to be nice with him, probably.
Mhm.
But she didn't allow it. I mean, something because she trying like to put the beverage on his cup, and he didn't allow it. So probably he's mad with her. Looks like that.
Okay, so we think there's some kind of anger. Anybody else?
Teacher?
Yeah.
I don't know if it is that, but it looked like there is a lack of trust between them. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So there's either lack of trust. That's interesting.
Lack
All
of
right.
trust, exactly.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Sure, I thinking is a difficult situation. Maybe discussion or the final relationship, because the face is very serious. There are no interaction in the couple, because when he take the here, she stop the moment. I thinking is a distance in this time.
Okay, so for the words we've got anger. Okay, we've got distrust, distance between the couple. Okay, good. Anything else we notice? They seem distance from each other, angry at each other, distrustful. Any other observations? I'll ask a question. Who thinks they're having a good day? Would anybody say they're having a good day together?
From this couple?
Yeah, they're having fun together.
Ma-
Are they happy to be with each
I
other?
think it's men have good day, but not girl.
Oh, okay. Interesting. One of them's more happy than the other. Okay.
But he got a very strange dish, almost empty plate. I don't know.
Oh, the beginning, he's actually just moving his vegetables around. He's playing with his vegetables.
Yes, yes, very, very strange.
He's just sitting there bored out of his mind, and he makes a face with the vegetables on the plate. So he's sitting there with his girlfriend, and they're just kind of sitting in silence.
It's like joke, I don't know, but not good joke.
He's just sitting there making a face, and look at the look. So he's just shuffling his vegetables around, and then look at the look on her face. Uh-huh.
Teacher, I'm asking myself if the man is able to use the utensil to eat. I don't know the name because it is a Chinese thing to eat.
Oh, chopsticks. Okay, yes,
Chopstick?
he's eating with
Yeah.
chopsticks.
Yeah.
It
The
doesn't seem like
lady
he's
managed.
having any trouble with them, but I think his problems are not using the chopsticks. His problems are who he's with. Look at his face.
Mm-hmm.
Does this look like a fun date?
He's sad. He's very sad.
But he's
Oh,
very sad
sadness.
now.
Okay.
In the evening, when he had, maybe before he had nice mood.
Okay.
And it
they are
showed
really
a very disinterest to
Disinterest. Okay.
yeah,
Disinterest. Oh, yeah. Distrust.
yeah, because
Disinterest.
it looked like around him very often.
He's looking around.
Yeah.
This is interesting where he's looking out at her, and she's one of her bangs falls in front of her eye, and he tries to brush it away. Is she happy about him touching her?
No.
Hi, teacher.
No.
Hi, teacher.
Yes, Safayo.
I think the woman is very stressed. She is upset, and the mom tried to help her.
Papa.
Bye.
Hey, everybody.
Papa
The whole family joining us. All right. Stressed, upset, disinterested, sad, distant, anger, okay. So all of these things are observations that we have from this couple. Now, I'm going to send you into a quick breakout room and ask you this question. After they finish their dinner and they move on, what would the Instagram post look like? So think about this. This is the most important question. What would their Instagram post look like? After they had a terrible day together, what would their Instagram post look like? Okay. After lunch, what would their Instagram post look like? That's what you need to discuss, okay? Does everybody understand?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so think about when you have a bad day, you go out, do something with your partner. After you have a miserable time, what do you post on Instagram? That's the question. After lunch, what would the Instagram post look like? Okay. I'm gonna send you into a breakout room. Here we go. So I asked the question several times. When I go into the breakout rooms, I want to see cameras on, people talking. I don't want to hear anybody say, "What are we talking about, teacher? Huh? Huh?" Ask me now if you don't understand. Everybody understands?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Join your breakout room.